The parents of a Howard County girl murdered by her boyfriend confront state lawmakers today. John Rydell says they're calling for more public awareness about the impact of domestic violence.
The day she graduated is actually the last time I ever saw her alive.
Bill and Michelle Mitchell have a tragic story to tell. Their 21-year-old daughter, Kristin, was murdered by her boyfriend 5 years ago. Kristin's mother says she had no clue about any problems, but she says Kristin's friends knew something was wrong.
They were concerned about the relationship and the controlling behavior that was involved, and they had planned on speaking with her the weekend after our daughter was murdered.
But I don't think she knew enough to look at his behaviors any more than being kind of annoying as opposed to potentially dangerous.
A 2009 Maryland Youth Risk Behavior Survey shows 17% of students report being hit, slapped, or physically hurt by boyfriends or girlfriends. It's why one state lawmaker is sponsoring a bill calling on the State Department of Education to expand curriculums on teen domestic violence.
The signs of abuse in a relationship, what to look out for, what to do, where to go for help, how to get help.
If this bill is enacted by the General Assembly, any change in curriculum would still have to be approved by the State Board of Education and then implemented by the local school boards. But state education officials say schools already include a curriculum about healthy relationships. It's taught in health classes. The department now wants to amend that bill to require local school systems to at least report to the state how they're instructing kids on relationships and dating violence.
It's not just physical, it's sexual, it's verbal, it's controlling behavior.
Steps the Mitchells hope may prevent other young people from becoming victims. In Annapolis, John Rydell, Fox 45 News at 10.
And testimony on the measure was heard today in the House Ways and Means Committee.
Well, coming up, her friends say they saw the warning signs but didn't speak up before it was too late. Now, one family wants to make sure your teen isn't in an abusive relationship. And next, it's a tragic story of a teenage girl killed by her boyfriend. How some hope to stop dating violence among teens. 6:45. A 21-year-old girl is killed by her boyfriend. Her friends saw the warning signs that something wasn't right about the relationship, but it seems Kristin Mitchell may not have. Now her parents are supporting a bill that would help prevent something like this from happening to others. Kristin's father, Bill, joins us this morning. Good morning. All right, let's talk a little bit about Kristin before we get into the bill. Tell me a little bit about her and what happened.
Well, 5 years ago, she'd been dating a guy for just about 4 months, and she graduated, and 3 weeks later, he killed her.
And some of her friends thought there were some things that were off about the relationship. Well, she didn't necessarily think so?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what she thought because I never had the opportunity to talk with her about that, but her friends felt that he had a very controlling personality. Lots of text messages, an inordinate amount of that. Just all the kind of signs of possession, you know, that kind of go over the top, and her friends were very concerned and were actually going to kind of intervene with her. But unfortunately, she was killed before that happened.
In fact, you all have started a crusade, Kristin's Crusade, and as part of your literature, you have, you know, she sent this text to her boyfriend which says, "You're being ridiculous. Why can't I do something with my friends?" That was the text message she sent to him, which shows the controlling nature, and then hours later, he murdered her.
Right, she sent that. I have her cell phone, which still has text messages from that evening, but that's one of the ones that was sent, and a number of hours later, she was stabbed to death. Yes.
Now, talk about the bill that is being considered and what that would have done possibly to help Kristin.
Well, HB 911, it's called, you know, would put in a law that would get teen dating violence education into schools, into middle schools, into high schools. A bill was passed last year into law, which was called the Tween and Teen Dating Violence Act, Dating Violence Education Act. But it didn't require, and there wasn't a lot of follow-up to what would actually get in. It just encouraged this kind of teaching, but now there would be things put in place that actually would follow up and make sure that it was taught.
And what are some of the kinds of things that you would like to see taught? What are kinds of messages the kids need to learn as early as middle school? Even, you know, at that point you're thinking they're not dating, but they need to know certain information.
Well, I mean, I've thought about that a lot over the last 5 years, and it's really about getting warning signs into kids' heads. You know, I don't know if somebody's in a relationship like that, if they're going to be watching it as carefully as maybe a friend would.
Of course not, yeah.
You know, but I think friends can save you sometimes more than you can save yourself, so that if you have a sense, if you see your friend is constantly getting texts from this guy, wants to know where you are at any moment of the day, if you're in a relationship where somebody's always bugging you about what you're wearing, I mean, come on. There are a lot of things like that where somebody just wants to kind of grab you and hold you in such a way that it just goes beyond the fact that this person loves you and thinks about you a lot. It can go over the top. And so we want to draw attention to that.
And it starts obviously as something that's non-physical, but those are the warning signs to say, wait a minute, this could lead to something that's physical. And even if it doesn't result in being killed the way it happened with your daughter, it still could result in a physical
well, these things tend to creep up,
yeah,
it seems, you know, so the idea is to get this into younger ages, you know, to people who are tweens or teens, you know, try to get it into the high school years, that type of thing. I mean, my daughter never had any kind of education like this, and I think that she probably misinterpreted what some of her friends saw.
Right.
And her friends did draw some attention to her to get some space from this guy, and she had intended to do that. I have emails from her where she said, I really need to put a little space between us.
Well, Bill, we appreciate you coming in and talking about it. Kristin was a beautiful girl, so we appreciate that you came in and shared her story and are continuing her crusade against this.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.